Imagine this, you're sitting across from her at a cafe, her latte steaming between you, your heart pounding with that restless hope that maybe, just maybe, she feels what you feel. You're leaning in, smiling, throwing out your best lines, sharing parts of yourself that you rarely show anyone. But while your words are filled with warmth, her body tells a colder story. She's angled slightly away, her arms folded like a barrier, her eyes scanning the room as if searching for someone more interesting to appear. She laughs politely at your jokes, but it's the kind of laugh that never touches her eyes. And you can feel it, that hollow echo inside your chest, yet you ignore it, because you want the fantasy to survive. This is the trap countless men fall into. You think attraction is something you can talk her into, prove to her, or earn with effort. But attraction is primal. It lives in the subtle cues, in the way her body leans closer without her thinking, in the way her pupils dilate when she's locked on you, in the restless energy she carries when she's genuinely interested. And here's the brutal truth: when she's not attracted, her body will broadcast it louder than any words she might say. The tragedy is that most men are blind to it. They're too focused on impressing, on doing the right thing, on keeping the conversation flowing. They don't realize they're investing into a bottomless pit. And the more you chase someone whose body already told you no, the deeper you fall into humiliation. Think about the times you've stayed in a conversation where she gave you nothing back. Her shoulders turned away, her phone suddenly more important than your story, her smile quick, fake, vanishing in a heartbeat. You rationalized it. She's shy, you told yourself. She's tired, you convinced yourself. But deep down, you knew. You knew because her body had already rejected you. And instead of walking away, you kept pushing. That's when the dynamic flipped. You stopped being a man she might respect and became just another guy begging for scraps of her attention. You must understand, this attraction is not negotiated. It's revealed. Her body will reveal the truth whether her words try to soften it or not. That's why learning to read body language is not about tricks. It's about survival. It saves you from wasting months, even years, on someone who never wanted you in the first place. It saves you from the silent suffering of wondering why she won't text back, why she's always busy, why she lights up for everyone else but grows colder when you walk in. So what do you do when you see the signs? First, stop overinvesting. If her body is closed off, if she's leaning away, if her energy is flat, your job is not to try harder. Your job is to pull back. Mirror her disinterest with your indifference. Don't reward her coldness with more attention. That's how you protect your dignity. Second, test her interest. If you take a step back, does she lean forward? If you stop chasing, does she reach out? If she doesn't, then you've got your answer. She's not attracted, and no amount of chasing will change that. And third, detach emotionally. Attraction cannot be forced, and forcing it only destroys your self-respect. It's not easy, I know. Walking away when you want her, when you see her beauty, when your imagination is already building futures, it feels like tearing your own heart out. But it's better to face a clean wound now than to bleed slowly over months of false hope. Every man must learn this: rejection is not the end of your worth. It is a redirect, a chance to reclaim your time, your energy, your focus, and give them only to the women who naturally respond with openness, warmth, and genuine attraction. And here's the harsh but liberating reality: women respect men who can read the room and walk away with their dignity intact. When you cling to someone who's clearly not into you, you lower yourself. When you detach at the first sign of disinterest, you rise in value, not to her, but to yourself. That's the core of masculine power, not begging for acceptance, but choosing where to place your energy. So let me ask you this. Have you ever stayed too long in a conversation where you knew she wasn't into you? What did her body language tell you in that moment, and why did you ignore it? And if you had the strength to walk away back then, how much pain would it have saved you? You've probably heard the phrase, actions speak louder than words. But in dating, it's not her big actions that matter most. It's the micro signals, the subtle shifts in posture, the unspoken cues that tell you everything about how she feels. And here's what most men don't want to admit. If you miss these signals, you're not just blind, you're vulnerable. You become the man who interprets politeness as interest, who mistakes obligation for desire, who confuses a woman's tolerance with her attraction. And that blindness costs you your time, your dignity, and your power. Picture this, you're walking side by side with her after dinner. You try to hold her hand, but she tucks it into her jacket pocket, claiming she's cold. She doesn't make eye contact as you talk, her eyes darting to passing cars, store windows, the ground. She laughs at your jokes, but it's more of a puff of air than a laugh. She's there, physically, but not present. She's giving you crumbs, and you're treating them like a feast. You're telling yourself, she's shy, she's guarded, I just need to prove myself. No, what you need is to stop lying to yourself. Her body is already screaming the truth. Now, why does this happen? Because women are conditioned to be polite. Many won't outright say, I'm not attracted to you. Instead, they withdraw in subtle ways, hoping you'll pick up on it without forcing them to reject you verbally. And this is where men sabotage themselves. Instead of reading the body, they double down on the words. They take a polite smile as encouragement. They take maybe another time as hope. They take her showing up without enthusiasm as a chance to win her over. That's how you fall into the trap of over-investing. Over-investing is when you give more attention, energy, and emotion than she's giving back. You text first, you plan every date, you compliment her endlessly, you adjust your schedule to fit hers, all while ignoring that her body language has been cold from the start. Over-investing is how you teach her that she doesn't need to give much, because you'll always be there. And the more you give without reciprocity, the less she respects you. You have to break this cycle. How? By testing, not chasing. When you lean back, when you stop flooding her with energy, you see the truth. Does she lean forward? Does she touch your arm? Does she initiate conversation? Does she close the distance physically? If not, she's showing you that her attraction isn't there. And the worst mistake you can make is to keep ignoring those signs. This isn't about playing games. It's about clarity. Because when you ignore her signals, you're not only wasting your time, you're training yourself to accept disrespect. You're teaching yourself that your desires don't matter, that you'll tolerate lukewarm energy, that her half-hearted presence is enough. And once you internalize that, it bleeds into every part of your relationships. You start accepting less than you deserve. You start bending yourself into shapes just to keep her around. And in the end, she still leaves. Because attraction cannot be faked. So, let's make this tactical. The next time you're with a woman, notice her proximity. Does she lean in when you speak? Or does she lean away? Pay attention to her touch. Does she find excuses to make physical contact? Or does she avoid it altogether? Watch her eyes. Are they locked on you with curiosity or glazed over, scanning everything else around? These are not small details. They are the difference between being the man she's drawn to and being the man she tolerates until something better comes along. And when you see those signs of disinterest, you act. You don't beg. You don't plead. You don't try harder. You stop investing. You redirect your energy. You test her. If she doesn't step up, you let her go. That's not cruelty. That's respect for yourself. Because you only have two choices. Either you respect yourself enough to walk away, Or you let her body language tell the world she doesn't respect you. This is the moment where most men hesitate. They think, but what if I misread her? What if she's just nervous? And yes, sometimes nerves play a role. But attraction finds a way to show itself. Even nervous women will find excuses to be close, to touch, to laugh, to engage. Disinterest, on the other hand, is unmistakable. It's heavy, it's distant, it's the silence between the words. If you feel it, it's real. Stop pretending it's not. So here's the choice. Are you going to keep rationalizing her distance? Or are you finally going to believe what her body is telling you? Have you ever looked back and realized her body language was cold the entire time, but you ignored it because you wanted the fantasy? Which of these cues, the leaning away, the lack of touch, the wandering eyes, have you ignored before? And if you had acted on those signals immediately, how much self-respect would you have kept? There's a painful truth that most men only learn after years of wasted energy. Attraction cannot be negotiated, and a woman's body language tells the truth long before her words do. Think back to the times you poured everything into a woman who never truly leaned into you. She showed up to the date but sat with her arms crossed. She responded to your texts but never initiated. She agreed to plans but acted distracted when you were together. You told yourself she was busy, she was tired, she was stressed. But her body language was spelling out the reality you didn't want to face. She wasn't drawn to you, and no amount of effort was going to change that. This is why detachment is the most powerful weapon a man can carry. Detachment doesn't mean being cold, heartless, or robotic. It means reading the signs, accepting the truth, and walking away with your self-respect intact. It means refusing to be the man who keeps pushing against a locked door, bleeding energy into someone who never intended to open it. Let's talk about why body language matters so much. Human attraction is rooted in biology. Our bodies reveal desire before our minds rationalize it. When a woman is attracted, she can't help but orient her body toward you. She tilts her head, exposes her neck, mirrors your movements, plays with her hair, laughs freely. These aren't strategies, they're instinct. When she's not attracted, her body closes itself off. She angles away, minimizes touch, keeps her legs or arms crossed, maintains distance. And here's the key: her body can't lie, but her words often will. That's what makes this so dangerous. Many women don't want to be cruel. They'll smile politely, nod along, give you vague, maybe later responses. They'll maintain a surface-level politeness to avoid confrontation. But while her lips are saying, maybe, her body is saying, never. And if you don't train yourself to see it, you'll waste weeks, months, even years trying to change something that was never there to begin with. So here's the tactical move: stop believing words without checking the body. When her words and her body language don't match, always believe the body. If she says she had a great time but sits with her arms folded, believe the arms. If she says she's interested but won't make eye contact, believe the eyes. If she claims she likes you but avoids all physical contact, believe the avoidance. Her words are diplomacy, her body is the truth. And when you see the truth, you act on it immediately. You don't keep chasing, you don't rationalize, you don't sink deeper into the fantasy. You pull back, you stop giving what isn't reciprocated. You hold your ground and let the silence test her. If she's truly interested, she'll break the silence. She'll lean in, she'll chase a little. But if she doesn't, then you've saved yourself months of self-destruction. This is where most men struggle: the fear of loss. The idea that if they stop trying, they'll lose her forever. But here's what you need to engrave into your mind if she was never leaning in to begin with. You have nothing to lose. You cannot lose what you never had. All you lose by walking away is the illusion, the false hope you've been feeding. And once you kill the illusion, you reclaim your power. Let me put it this way. Imagine you're holding a rope, pulling with all your strength. On the other side, she's not pulling back, she's just letting the rope drag, giving you nothing. You're sweating, straining, exhausting yourself to move something that isn't moving. At some point, you have to realize you're not in a tug of war, you're dragging dead weight. The moment you drop the rope, the exhaustion ends, and you'll wonder why you didn't let go sooner. That's the discipline of reading body language. It's not about decoding secret signals like a spy. It's about refusing to lie to yourself when the truth is already in front of you. Because the longer you deny it, the more you bleed respect. And the more you bleed respect, the less attractive you become to anyone, not just her. So here's your mission watch for the truth in her body. If it's warm, open, drawn to you, then invest. If it's cold, closed, distant, then detach. That's it. No chasing, no begging, no bargaining. Respect what her body reveals, and you'll never again waste your energy where it doesn't belong. Now I'll ask you, how many times have you ignored what her body told you because you didn't want to face the rejection? How many hours, days, or months have you wasted trying to convince someone who was never leaning toward you? And if you had walked away sooner, what kind of man would you be today? Here's what most men don't realize until it's too late every time you ignore her body language. You give away a piece of your power. Think about it. She's leaning back, checking her phone, looking around the room, but you keep pouring energy into her. In that moment, you're teaching her and yourself that your attention is cheap, that she doesn't need to give anything in return, that you'll keep chasing even when she's not present. And once you've taught her that, there's no going back. She won't respect you because you've already shown her that you don't respect yourself. The harsh reality is this: attraction is effortless. When she's into you, her body will show it without hesitation. She'll lean in closer, she'll laugh easily. Her eyes will lock onto yours like she's pulled by gravity. She'll find excuses to touch you, to close the distance, to linger in your presence. That's real attraction. You don't have to drag it out of her. You don't have to convince her. You don't have to fight for scraps. When she's into you, you'll feel it not in your head, but in your gut. It feels alive, electric, undeniable. Anything less than that is settling for crumbs. So why do men ignore this? Because of hope. Hope is the drug that keeps you stuck. You tell yourself, maybe she just needs time. Maybe if I prove myself. Maybe if I show her how much I care. You build excuses because you don't want to face the truth she doesn't feel it, and nothing you do can force her to. Hope blinds you to reality, and hope is the most dangerous trap a man can fall into. You need to replace hope with standards. A man with standards doesn't chase lukewarm energy. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't settle for polite laughs and empty smiles. A man with standards reads the signs, and if they're cold, he walks. Not because he's angry, not because he's bitter, but because he values himself too much to invest where there's no return. That's what separates the men who command respect from the men who are endlessly used and discarded. Here's a tactical reset for you when you meet a woman. Don't measure success by whether she agrees to spend time with you. Measure it by her energy. Is she leaning in? Is she engaged? Does her body light up around you? If the answer is no, then she's not attracted, and that's all you need to know. The sooner you accept that, the sooner you can redirect your focus to women who actually respond with fire instead of ashes. And don't misunderstand, walking away isn't weakness. Walking away is the ultimate strength. Weak men cling, strong men detach. Weak men beg for scraps. Strong men demand reciprocity. Weak men drown in hope. Strong men live in clarity. When you choose to walk away at the first signs of disinterest, you don't just save yourself time, you raise your value in the eyes of every woman you meet, because you show that your attention is scarce, and scarce things are valuable. Now, let's get real. There's another layer to this. Some women will use their body language as a weapon. They'll stay close enough to keep you orbiting, but not close enough to actually commit. They'll give you just enough eye contact, just enough touch, just enough playful energy to keep your hope alive, but when you test them, they pull back. This is not attraction. This is control. It's how they keep you on the hook without giving you what you want. And if you don't learn to recognize it, you'll stay trapped in the push-pull dynamic, chasing her approval like a dog chasing a shadow. The way out, indifference. Indifference kills manipulation. When you refuse to overreact to mixed signals, when you stop rewarding crumbs with attention, when you hold your frame regardless of whether she leans in or pulls away, you flip the script. Suddenly, she can't control you. She can't manipulate you with absence. She can't keep you desperate with half interest. And if she was never genuinely attracted in the first place, she disappears, which is exactly what you want, because you only want women who choose you fully. You must burn this into your mind. Her body language is either an invitation or a rejection. If it's an invitation, step forward. If it's rejection, step back. Anything in between is manipulation, and you neutralize it by refusing to play. So I'll leave you with this. How many times have you mistaken crumbs for interest? Have you ever been strung along by a woman who gave you just enough to keep you chasing, but never truly opened herself to you? And when you look back now, do you see how her body language was telling you the truth the whole time? You've probably noticed this by now. The most painful rejections in your life didn't come from a woman saying no directly. They came from the slow, invisible kind. The lukewarm body language, the distant presence, the quiet disinterest she thought you wouldn't catch. And because she never said it out loud, you kept clinging to the scraps, feeding yourself on false hope until you were drained. That is the kind of slow bleed that breaks a man, not because she rejected him, but because he refused to see the rejection for what it was. Here's what you must understand with absolute clarity every time you ignore disinterest. You betray yourself. You tell yourself her excuses are valid, that her busy schedule explains why she never initiates, that her cold posture is just shyness, that her refusal to engage physically is just her taking it slow. But deep down, you know when a woman's body is lit with attraction, and you know when it's not. Your instincts feel the truth, but your fear buries it. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of being alone. Those fears are exactly what keep you trapped. But masculinity is built in the fire of truth, and truth always reveals itself in her body. Attraction isn't logical, it isn't earned, it isn't bargained for. It's either there, pulsing through her every move, or it's absent, leaving her gestures flat and mechanical. You can either honor that truth or live your life begging for something that was never real. Let's make this sharp and tactical. When you see closed-off body language, folded arms, crossed legs, leaning away, don't argue with it. Don't try to talk over it. Step back, give her space. If she's truly interested, she'll lean forward to close that space. If she doesn't, she's telling you without words, I don't feel it. Believe her. When she avoids touch, don't force it. Pull your energy away. If she never initiates touch back, you've got your answer. And when her eyes drift constantly, never locking onto yours, never holding that gaze, understand attraction glues eyes together. Disinterest scatters them. Believe what her eyes reveal. And here's the discipline: do not reward coldness with warmth. Most men make this fatal mistake. She leans away, and they lean in closer. She goes silent, and they talk more. She disengages, and they try harder. That's how you destroy your value. You can't bribe attraction into existence. You can only mirror the reality you're given. If she's warm, you return warmth. If she's cold, you grow colder. If she's absent, you disappear. That's how you maintain power. This is more than dating advice. This is war strategy for your dignity. Because the moment you start begging for interest, you surrender the battlefield. You make her the authority. You hand her the power to define your worth. But when you match her energy instead of overcompensating, you stay grounded. You remain the man who doesn't chase illusions, who doesn't waste his fire on someone who won't even bring a spark. The cost of ignoring this is enormous. If you keep tolerating women whose body language screams no, you'll condition yourself into weakness. You'll normalize rejection disguised as politeness. You'll start believing that crumbs are enough. And then, when a woman who actually does feel genuine attraction comes along, you won't even recognize it, because you'll be too used to chasing coldness. That's how men lose themselves, not through one brutal rejection, but through a lifetime of small, silent ones they refuse to see. You must choose clarity over fantasy. You must choose respect over hope. You must choose to believe her body language, even when your ego wants to argue, because that's the only way to stop wasting your life in the wrong places. So let me ask you directly, how many times have you betrayed yourself by ignoring the obvious signs? How often have you leaned harder when she leaned away? And if you had walked away the moment her body told you the truth, how much stronger, freer, and more respected would you be right now? She didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect.